Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, here we are today, dry season. But I suppose we've got to acknowledge it's been more than just this dry season, that the challenges that we're facing, in the sense that really it's been going for the last 4 years, really. Farmers and communities and individuals in those communities have all been dealing with, these things add up. We had COVID. What else? The state heritage, the government tried to push that through, caused a few headaches, a bit of angst, obviously. Interest rates were rocking up. Live sheep ban issues going on, the dry season now. So it's been compounding a lot of issues that just relate to the situation we are in today. Now what's resulted is there's a lot of exhausted farmers out there, exhausted individuals and exhausted communities. And obviously that's creating challenging times. Now in terms of these challenging times, this challenging times leads into a lot of stuff, but before I go into that, a lot of that leads into a counselling space, of which that's where we come in terms of Rural West. We are a program that's set up by the government, the federal government and the state government. The two programs are basically run on an agricultural basis and on a small business basis. So technically I am a rural financial counsellor and a small business financial counsellor. We work both in those spaces. So my portfolio, to speak in the southwest down here, is working with farmers, and also increasingly more recently is small business. But basically that's who we are. I mean, so no cost service to farmers, no cost service to small business. We're mobile, so that means that we go out to the farm. Our office is the farmer's kitchen table, and we work with them in that space there. But in simple terms, without getting too involved in the minute about what we do, the situation is, in simple terms, we calm the situation. Because of the financial stress, the situation can be quite hard to handle with all the issues facing the farmer and small business proprietor. So we calm the situation, clarify, and we listen. One of the biggest jobs that we have to do is listen, and it's quite amazing the fact that a lot of people don't get that opportunity to be listened to. I mean, the amount of times I go away, and maybe not the first meeting, but down the track the farmer might say, look, you're listening to us. We don't get our accountant, the bank, next door neighbour, guys at the footy club, whatever it may be, you are listening, and that's what we do. We listen and we start counselling in a space where we can get back control, because the biggest issue with stress is not having any control. So no control equals pretty dire stress. So we work in a space through a framework that will attempt and will get behavioural change into this situation to get some control back. Now, in terms of what's up here now on when the season is dry, there's a whole lot of stuff down there on the left. Bills are coming in, whole lot of stuff there. Creditors, creditors are knocking on your door. Welfare concerns for stock, marketing of your commodity, finding workers of skilled nature and retaining them. Eroding equity in the business. Strains on relationships, which is a pretty big one that comes across our desk. And as I'm saying, as I started, community and small business is impacted. And essentially what's those items there, when the season is dry, it gets down to a thing that we call, basically, all that's driven down to a thing called situational distress. I mean, many farmers I come across that before all this stuff started, as I'm saying, 4 years ago, and things are going well, they were going okay. They were going okay in a financial space, and they're going okay in a financial space. However, with these compounding issues and these stress levels rising, it's a situation that has risen, an event that has basically caused their situation and their angst and their stress to rise. Now, in that situation or the stress situation, you get mental fatigue, judgment is clouded, and also too you lose that control. Now, essentially, probably to explain situational distress, I mean, a common one would be a farming situation. Farmer's son says, I'm going to go off to uni. I'm coming back to the farm. Dad's happy, the family's happy about that. However, in uni days, he moves off and goes off and be a mechanical engineer and says to Dad, we're not coming back. Now, in the meantime, they've gone along and bought the farm down the road at a higher price because the land prices have gone up. The farms extended themselves in terms of debt level. Interest rates have gone up. Dry season kicks in. All of a sudden, the decision to buy that farm for the son coming back is now not looking as good as rosy as it turned out to plan to be. Now, the bank are now knocking on the farmer's door saying, now, hang on, you're missing payments here. The thing now called situational distress kicks in, because that event of compounding and the bank, nothing worse than a bank sending you a letter and saying that in 90 days you either got to find another bank, or alternatively you got to find a situation we're going to get out of here. So Rural West End comes in then, hopefully through networking and referrals. We come in, and that's when that calming of the situation comes in, and we work with a farmer or a small business situation to clarify and work on a plan. But the biggest thing there is that we create space for that farmer, where he stressed that we become a conduit then for the bank. They sign a third-party agreement, or a agreement that we deal with the finances and the creditors, so they don't ring the farmer anymore. They're coming through us. We take all the hits, but we're trained to work with that, and we work with those creditors to create space, and all of a sudden that letter the farmer got for 90 days, we can turn that into 12 months, and it gives us space there to work on a plan, because the bank wants a plan. They don't like no plan. Now, the plan might be we're going to try a trade out of this. We're going to try and maybe let that lease go. We might try and sell the farm we bought. So getting a plan and taking a plan back to the bank or creditor is basically what we do, and one of the things we do. Now, in this situational distress time, it's very easy to fall into these categories here in terms of, stop opening mail doesn't seem much, but I've seen many farmers. I've been to a farm where basically his office rubbish bin is full of unopened letters from the bank. And I said, "You heard from the bank lately?" "Yeah, there they are." "Okay, so righto, we're taking over here. We're going to work with the bank. We'll address this." So, these things here are issues that we working with all the time. Okay, the bank's ringing, the creditors ringing, they block calls. Again, it comes through us. We work with that. Procrastinating anything in terms of change, and largely, and down the bottom there, the concept of hiding the fact that you're struggling. And it's always difficult to put your hand up for help. And by human nature, people put up their hand on later than earlier. I think we're getting better at the fact of getting a hand up earlier, but I think historically it's been a bit of a thing where people are struggling and not asking early enough. But with all these forums we're having and all the agencies are here in this room today, and it's getting a better space for us all to deal with that concept of struggling. Now, that's where we move on to a concept of planning. Obviously, we work to a plan, farmers work to a plan, but plans change, and things don't go to plan. And obviously, the dry season, these compounding issues of all this last 4 years, make plans very hard to work with, but you need to be proactive in that plan and not procrastinate to make any change, and be keen enough to be flexible to adapt to that change. Listen. And okay, what you've been doing for the last 3 generations, whatever it may be, it's time to have a look at that change where it may affect the program and the enterprise being better off and working forward. And the last one there, take time for your personal health and well-being. Very important, obviously. I know when I was out in the wheat belt before I came back down here, saw a farmer out in wherever, and this young chap never been off his farm. He worked every day. And I said, well, when was the last time you off this farm? He goes, I don't get off the farm. I said, well, it's something in terms of self-care, personal well-being. Some distance away was the Hayden races. They had those the races out of Hayden. Is it Hayden? No, Coolum. The Coolum races. I said, go up there for the day. He said, I never go to the Coolum races. I said, I don't know. I said, I don't tell you what to do, but think about this. I saw him about a month later. He said, you know what? I said, what happened, mate? He goes, I went to the Coolum races. I said, what happened? He said, I went there Saturday morning, didn't get home till Monday. And I went, okay, So I said, I saw guys I'd never seen before for a while, and I know, just small things like that that people need to consider to help their well-being. Essentially what we do, that's what I sort of alluded to, we look at the financial and business options, look at opportunities, regain the focus, largely negotiate with the banks is a big one for us. As I say, it takes that stress off farmers who can't rent. As I say, that guy with a rubbish bin full of unopened letters. I mean, his dreams come through when I rocked up because I took over, and we've actually got results for that particular man. What else? Yeah, that's about it there. Oh yeah, and I'll get to some schemes and basically some grant stuff in a minute. Okay, that's our team. Well, it's not us. Look as flash as that, but we've got there's 12 of us spread around WA. We've all got rural backgrounds and rural finance type background, and we work strongly in the community to spread our word, and that's the biggest thing. We get referrals from the banks largely, but the banks move their file pretty slowly through credit, and when it gets to hospital section in credit, they say, we better give it to Rural West to sort out. Plus the fact that they don't want to be seen selling the farm up, so we get Rural West in, and we work with the farmer, and hopefully we work them through the situation where that farm is kept within the entity, and the bank situation is sorted out, and we all move on. Basically, as you'll probably be aware at the current minute, there's a hardship grant going on with the state government. Announced that a couple of weeks ago. I think they announced it the day that guy, federal minister, announced the live export sheep report. So the state government came out the same day, or almost that, talking about the $5,000 grant that's available at the moment for livestock feed and water, a shortage of water. I don't know if you guys have applied for that $5,000 yet, but that's out there at the minute. I think the amount of millions of dollars they're going to lend out, and the $5,000, if you divide that, it works out to be about 400 farmers. And so I think it's going pretty quick. It's supposed to be up till the 30th of June, but I think they're pretty well over 300 at the minute. So I'm not too sure what they'll do that if it gets to 400. But also too, what they're going to do is, coming soon, is in that announcement is a $25,000 interest-free loan for this particular dry season situation. So if the dry season is affecting you and you are in financial hardship, to gain or access that $25,000 loan, it's going to be an interest-free loan for 5 years. No payments for the first 2 years, I believe, but the 25 grand would have to be paid off in the 3 years, year 3, year 4, year 5. So that's out there. That's going to be coming out, I think, pretty well in the next 2 weeks. That's something that the state government have got. In terms of federal government, there's a couple of things there with the farm household allowance. I don't know if you ever heard the farm household allowance with the federal government. It was initially set up to basically put food on the table for a farmer or farmers that were finding it difficult in financial situations. So if the farm has compounding issues over year 2 or 3, farm household allowance is something that you can look at, and it's a 4-year program where you'll get the equivalent to job seeker, what was that, for 4 years. So that's something that we can accommodate and look at. Ag biz loans are tied up with the Regional Investment Corporation, which is called RIC, Rick put out drought loans, ag starter loans if you're a farmer starting out, the drought loan and the ag biz drought loan. Their interest rate at the moment is it's 4.99. That's a 4.99 variable interest rate. It's a 10-year loan. It's basically interest only for 5 years, and then you pay off the principal over that last 5 years of that loan. So it can be arduous, depends on how much you borrow, obviously, but the maximum you can amount to borrow is $2 million. But that's been a successful program. So in essence, that's basically what we've got today. There's our 1-800 number there. I've got business cards and stuff over there. So if there's any question, we'll have a look at that. So that's about it from me.